Hi guys. I know I gave a lot of you feedback on how to take notes on your sources. So I wanted to just walk through a model of how I've already documented my source information, but how I might take some notes based on looking at a source that's in front of me. So at its most basic, now that we're at the part where we're sort of um, taking notes of historical examples to use as evidence of our social method working well. What we want to make sure we have at a minimum is just a who, what, when, where, why, how. Like the most basic information that we're gathering from any part, right? The 5 W's and H. So in this case, it's like who took action. And here I am, I'm reading it, and I see that, oh, groups of same-sex couples sued their relevant state agencies in Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky, and Tennessee to ban the constitutionality of those states' bans of same-sex marriage. So, who took action? It's these people. Groups of same-sex couples that sued their relevant state agencies in these different states. What happened? So this one's hard, and it's going to be the one that is the longest in most cases. So I can say I see that they argued that their state laws violated the Equal Protection Clause and 14th Amendment. The reason for what happened, I'm using my own words here instead of direct quotes, is because a lot of things are going to happen. You might want to talk about what happened to lead to them taking this form of action or what happened during the trial, right? So in this trial, they also brought claims under the Civil Rights Act. Oh, and I forgot something really important. This was a direct quote, so I'm in fact putting it in direct quotes here. And what happened was that the trial court found in favor of the plaintiffs. So I'm going to say this is what happened. They found in favor of the plaintiffs. That's first what happened. So I might even want to put that in my own words to make sure I understand it. At first, they won. Then another court overturned it. And it went to the Supreme Court. So then as I continue to read, I find that, oh my goodness, and Supreme Court ruled in favor of the plaintiffs, who are the people suing about the law. So in all these cases, I want to make sure I'm getting the most important events, especially the most important events that show why my case is right. So when did this happen? It happened in 2015. I might even put specifically January to June 2018. Where did this happen? It happened at first in Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky, and Tennessee, but then in the Supreme Court. And then this question is also key. So the two key questions are what happened, because I'm characterizing all the important events that happen, and then why is this important? Why does this show that the method was effective? This, in this case, is going to be some of my own thinking, because they had no other options, because they couldn't change the laws despite all of the things they were doing in their own state. So this is my own thinking. This is not coming directly from the article, but I'm seeing that, oh, look, this was their last resort. So it shows it's shows court cases are effective because in this case, it changed things after all other methods failed, right? And then how did their action lead to social change? There, I would also use my own reasoning to break apart some of these things that say, oh, it called to the Constitution. These ones are really, I have to use my brain. Sometimes you may find that they do some of this for you, but a lot of times you're going to need to do the thinking, especially for these ones. So they allowed people to fall back to Constitution and focus the issue around their rights, and I might add more and more. So, of course, this is not the only way, who, what, when, where, why, how, is not the only way to take notes on your articles. But if you are one of the many people who I put in a comment or in the progress tracker, please make sure to add the who, what, when, where, how, why, how, or make sure you have enough detail and background to make sense of your notes later on. You should maybe even just copy. When we go back to the slides, you can directly copy those questions and paste them into your own document so you know that you at least answer those questions. Yes, it is some work, but yes, it will also save you work later because you will have the information you need in your notes in order to write your paper. Where, as compared to if you just copy some lines that seem important, you may not have enough information to ultimately describe this case, describe the historical example, and why it proves your point. So that is our main mini lesson today on note taking. If you would like to extend yourself and are ready to learn a little bit more about how to find primary source documents, you can continue on. Otherwise, you should just copy and paste these who, what, when, where, why questions, or write them out for yourself in your source gathering document and move on to your next sources, making sure to take enough detail in your notes this time. Good luck.